Okay, so let's move on to the view model folder. Create a new file, which will be a Swift file. And let's call this Proverb view model. And I want to create a class Proverb view model, but first let's import observation, and then we can use observable class proverb view model. And now let's create proverb model, an instance of proverb model, which will be just the default quote. And let's let the URL string be equal to the string that we saved earlier. And I want to create a function called getRandomQuote, which will call a function getQuote, getProverb, same thing to me. It will call a function which we have not defined yet. So let's define this function getQuote. So private func getQuote. So I decided I don't want to give the user access to this function, and it will accept a string called URL string. Okay, so now we just need to grab the string that we had earlier in the proverb model. So I'm going to go back to the proverb model, the API call. Grab this string over here, go back to proverb view model, and input this over here. So now the main thing to do is to get a quote. So first of all, create URL. So guard let. Now this might fail. So that's why we're using a guard let. URL string. And I'm enter the URL string. Else return. For instance, if I use a bad URL, say some gibberish, right? Something like this. There's probably no site like this. This is going to return. It's not going to create a URL. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Next, let's send a GET request from the quote API. That's quite simple. So we define a request to be equal to URL request, and we use the URL that we just created a moment ago. And this is a GET request. So request.http method equals to get. So we're just getting something from this site. And now let's try to get data and any error information. Okay? So this is where we use URL session. So let task equal to URL session dot shared dot data task with request. Okay, so we're making a network request. So we have let task equal to URL session dot shared dot data task. And let's complete this. So this should have 3 arguments. The first argument is data, the actual data, response, and a possible error message. Okay, so first of all, we need a JSON decoder. We want to decode the JSON that we received. So JSON decoder. Now, this code is called if error is not nil. So this means there there is an error if it's not nil. Okay, so if let error print error and return. Okay, if we pass this point, then all is good. So next, let's get the data if it is not nil. So get data if it is not nil. Okay, so guard let data equal to data, else print data was nil and return. Now if we made it to this point, then we have some useful data. So now I want to create a new proverb model. So we need to decode it. So I'm going to use JSON decoder. Right, we created a JSON decoder earlier, and I'm going to decode using a certain data type. What data type? Our model from our data. And I just didn't write an equal sign. Okay, so that's good. Okay, and we can actually print the new data, so new proverb model dot, say, print the proverb, print opinion. We could use this just to test it out, to convince ourselves that it's working as soon as we actually make the call. And now we need a crucial step, right? So crucial step, update quote model, right? Recall we had a quote model at the very beginning, which we set to the default value, right? The default quote value, proverb.default quote. Okay, don't worry about this. We're gonna catch the error. We just didn't add a catch yet, and maybe we should at this point. So we said we have a crucial step. So let's do that crucial step. So dispatch queue dot main dot async and self.quote model, proverb model equals to new proverb model. And next we have this do, and we need to catch, right? If it doesn't work out. So catch, so print data description or debug description. We'll go with description. And print error. And finally, there's one crucial step that we still need to do. And this is just a little confusing, so I'm going to fold the do. And let's also fold the task. So we define this task. So finally, let's just add this one line of code, task.resume. So resumes the task if it is suspended. And this defines our proverb view model. And now we'd like to test it out. We're going to use the proverb view model to generate a random quote. So have an amazing day and see you next time.